It seems Disney is finally coming to terms with reality. The Snow White live-action remake is shaping up to be a complete disaster. The studio has now canceled its UK premiere, a move that only adds fuel to the fire. Critics, industry experts, and content creators alike have already declared this movie dead on arrival. And honestly, are we even surprised? From the very beginning, everything about this project has screamed disaster. Even now, the latest trailer is being bombarded with dislikes, proving just how much audiences despise this film. The numbers don't lie. This is shaping up to be one of the most hated Disney remakes of all time. But how did we get here? How did we go from a beloved classic to what many are calling the most aggressively progressive film ever made? Disney appears determined to push a political agenda, crafting a movie aimed at so-called woke audiences. But instead of appealing to fans, it's only driving them further away. And then, of course, there's Rachel Zegler. Lately, she's been trying hard to paint herself as the innocent victim in this controversy. But content creators and fans aren't buying it. The backlash against her continues to grow, making this one of the most disliked films in Disney's history. At this point, is there any saving this movie? Or has Disney already sealed its fate? YouTube is the biggest platform in the world. It's mainstream, it's where most people get their entertainment and news. And right now, Snow White is making waves for all the wrong reasons. But here's the real question. Why is Disney skipping the UK premiere? According to sources, Disney is deeply concerned about the backlash surrounding the drastic changes made to the film, as well as the overwhelmingly negative public perception of lead actress Rachel Zegler. And honestly, she hasn't helped her case. Many find her attitude insufferable, and with each passing day, she seems to make things even worse. As the film's release date approaches, I want to break down exactly why I believe this movie will be yet another catastrophic failure. For Disney, the 1937 animated Snow White is one of the most beloved classics of all time. So how did we get to a point where its remake is one of the most hated films in modern history? So why is there so much backlash against Rachel Zegler? Some say it's her arrogance, others point to her dismissive attitude toward the original movie and its fans. But one particular moment perfectly encapsulates the controversy, when she casually shrugged off concerns, saying, "My bad, no problem, that's fine. I'll just destroy this office." That kind of response, combined with her previous remarks, has only fueled the frustration among audiences. At this point, the real question is, can Disney salvage this disaster? Or is Snow White already doomed? When Rachel Zegler was asked about seeing herself as the evil queen for the first time, her response was baffling. "We didn't see the clip, so I still haven't seen anything." For someone starring in a major Disney production, this level of detachment is shocking. But honestly, it fits the ongoing disaster surrounding the Snow White live-action remake. Right now, Disney is in crisis mode, desperately trying to salvage what is shaping up to be a catastrophic failure. The pressure isn't just coming from audiences, but also from investors, who are growing increasingly concerned. If this film flops at the box office, Disney stands to lose an astronomical amount. Some reports estimate losses of $500 million or more. And if that happens, the consequences for the company will be severe. But what's fueling this fire? One major factor is Rachel Zegler herself. With only weeks left before the film's release, her controversial behavior is finally catching up with her. Time and again, she has made headlines for all the wrong reasons, whether it's dismissing the original film or making tone-deaf remarks that alienate audiences. Her inability to stay out of controversy has only amplified the backlash. Then, there's Disney's creative choices. Instead of honoring the legacy of the original film, they've opted for drastic changes, such as replacing the iconic Seven Dwarfs with CGI characters. Many see this as a soulless attempt to modernize a timeless classic, and the response has been overwhelmingly negative. In fact, it's the perfect recipe for disaster. An unpopular lead actress, a controversial reimagining, and a studio that refuses to listen to its audience. And let's talk about the budget. Some sources claim the movie cost around $300 million to make, while others argue the real number is closer to $500 million. Disney, however, insists the budget was only around $200 million, a statement many find hard to believe. After all, the company has a history of downplaying costs to save face. At this point, all signs suggest that Snow White is heading straight for box office disaster Can Disney turn things around, or is this the beginning of yet another multi-million-dollar failure? We've seen this pattern before, Disney underreporting budgets to downplay losses. Just like with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where the real budget was much higher than initially claimed, the same seems to be happening with Snow White. Some reports suggest the film cost over $500 million, yet Disney insists it was only around $200 million. But the cracks are showing, and audiences aren't buying it. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler is currently in Japan promoting the film, trying to paint herself as the good girl in this controversy. Photos and media appearances flood social platforms. But let's be real, her reputation is already damaged. This is the same actress who has insulted the fans of the original Snow White, disrespected the US president, and made inflammatory comments about men. Now, with the movie on the verge of release, she's attempting to hide behind a facade of innocence, but audiences see right through it. What's even more laughable is Disney's desperate marketing strategy. The company is now trying to associate the new Snow White with the original animated classic, as if that will convince fans to embrace the remake. But social media tells a different story. On platforms like YouTube and TikTok, backlash continues to explode, with people openly mocking the film and its misguided creative choices. At this point, one big question remains. Can this live-action remake of Snow White even come close to eclipsing the original? Or will it go down in history as yet another Disney failure, drowned in forced messaging and misguided? After everything we've seen, the big question remains. Can this new version of Snow White, filled with controversial changes and backlash, truly surpass the beloved classic? Many believe this remake is nothing more than a desperate attempt by Disney to reinvent an iconic story under the banner of progressivism and modern empowerment. But does it actually bring something fresh and meaningful, or does it simply betray the essence of the original film? I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this live-action adaptation has any chance of success, or will it end up as yet another forgettable Disney remake? Let me know in the comments because your opinion matters the most. That's all from me. I'm Carlos, this was Ellen Mortal, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.